What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Barnamiji, and today we're back with another Escape from Tarkov Arena video. I've been playing a lot of this wipe, and so I've had a lot of chance to work with the tier 1 presets. So today we're going to be doing a tier list from S to D of all the tier 1 presets. So I'm talking about everything in the tier 1 category, from Assault, CQB, Scout, Marksman, all of them. We're going to be ranking them all and deep diving into each one of them so you know which tier 1 presets are the ones to target. If you don't know about this tier system, this new preset system, if you're new to Escape from Tarkov Arena, if you're wondering about any of this, it's changed since last wipe. So definitely go check out my other video, a full breakdown of the new tier system and the new presets. We'll link to that in the description. But other than that, today we're going to be talking a lot more specifically about these presets than we did in that video within tier 1. So without further ado, make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy content like this, so I know to make more of it, and you'll come across more of our content that we publish in the near future. And drop a comment for the algorithm. Really appreciate you. That's all I'll say on that matter. Other than that, we will dive straight in. All right, y'all, we are going to dive into our tier list here. I do want to preface this with a little bit of information. So with this new tier system they're using, a lot of these gear scores are very, very similar. That is the whole point of tiers. They are supposed to be very even kits. They are a lot more even than they used to be in the past, and I'm sure these kits are going to continue to be updated. There'll be new presets posted, and so I will have to post update videos in the future almost certainly because of the changes that they'll make. This is still a beta game. But the thing is, there used to be a lot more difference in the past wipe between each preset in terms of how good it was because of the gear scores. Now they've balanced those out. So we are going to be doing a tier list today, but I want you to know that all of these kits are viable. Each one of these kits are viable. I went through them all. There's not a kit that you cannot use or that's just superbly dominant. They're all very, very close. So the margin of difference is very slim. And so my tier list may be very, very different from yours, and that's okay. So I have to come to this tier list with my perspective on it. So the way I'm going to be ranking them is based on my bias and my opinion, and I'll explain why as I go. But you could have a completely tier list, and that is up to you. You'll know how I feel about it. And again, it's not like there's a wide gap between my D and my S tier. A D tier kit can still easily beat the S tier at the top in the right hands and in the right situation. So just know that it's not like there's a severely meta kit here. Just know that. That's not what I'm saying. There's a slim gap, and we're going to talk about the differences as we go. I do want to preface with that. Okay, we're now going to dive into the tier list. I will say as well, I think that and I think a lot of you will agree, Assault, CQB, and Scout have some really, really good options. Marksman is kind of in a world of its own. I look at Marksman as more of a support class. You're trying to get assists, stay alive, and make callouts for your team. And you will from time to time top frag for your team, of course, but that's not really what you can't expect your marksman to go top frag all the time. That's not what they're there to do. They're still very useful for other reasons. So, but because of this, it's really hard for me to like factor these in the same way that I do Assault, CQB, and Scout. So the highest I'll have Marksman is at the B rank. Just know that it's very hard for me to put it in perspective. And if you love to use Marksman, I'm not saying that the S tiers are way more dominant than that. I'm just saying that they're way different. So it's hard for me to rank. So B tier will be as high as they go. Other than that, everything's open to be tossed in the tier list here. We'll go ahead and start with Marksman just to get that out of the way. I'll start with the Bolties side. So again, the Bolty tree is over here on the right. We got Chepashilo, we have Ranger, and we have Derritizer. I've actually used all three of these kits. I do like going the Bolties route, and I'll explain why. But we're going to start out with Chepashilo, which is somewhere in here, right here. We're going to throw it in the B tier. I do think it's a great option. I will also say all of the free kits are going to get an extra bonus for me because you see Owl, Chepashilo, Handler, Plantain, CQB side, Raider, Merca, and there's some in Assault. If it's a free one, it gets a little bit of a bonus, even if it's a worse kit than something else, just because it's free. So that way, if you lose games, you still make money You just don't lose any money at least. These other kits do cost you, so I am factoring that in. And so Chepashilo is going to be one of our top kits for the Marksman. The cool thing about Chepashilo is what I like about it. It's got a scope on it. You can yank that thing off and go iron sights if you want to on the Mosin. But I like that it's got the SPBT with 92 damage on a bolty. That's critical for me. The penetration's a little bit low, but I will say a lot of the kits at this tier do not have that much armor. So a high percentage of the kits here, you're going to be able to one-tap to the thorax, which for me is a must-have with these bolties. Because I only get one shot, I'm really looking for stuff that's 85 plus damage, so I can one-tap you to the thorax. That way I can either nick you in the head, or I can get you in the thorax, and you'll drop. Rather than having to get the headshot. You have to be a true gamer to really go for the bolties for just the headshot. It can be done, but it just sucks to hit somebody in the thorax and have them walk away, and you can't get extra fire-up shots behind that. So that's one reason I love Chepashilo. Also gets a semi-auto pistol. So with that reason, we're going to leave it in the B tier as one of our top Marksman kits. The next one we'll talk about is Ranger. Ranger, we are actually going to go throw down here in the C tier. The reason I don't like Ranger is for what we just talked about. It has a great scope on it. It has no armor whatsoever. This TAC 30 is awesome. It's a toggleable scope. The scope is probably one of the best in tier 1, all of tier 1 Marksman. So if you're just caring about the scope, this is actually a wonderful kit for you. The problem is 83 damage. For me, this BCP FMJ just shooting out of a Mosin or a bolt action rifle is not enough damage for me. You have to get the headshot to get someone to drop. And for me, that's just a no-go on the bolty. So that pretty much makes this kit not something I'm looking for. So that's why it's in the C tier. It does get a grenade though, so keep that in mind. There are going to be players who like to use this kit. It's just my personal preference, so I'm dropping that down to C tier. That's Ranger. Derritizer. Next we have Derritizer. Let me go ahead and throw this up in the B tier. I do actually find it better than Chepashilo. Reason being, you get the APM. It does a little bit more damage at 90, as well as what is it? A little bit more damage, or was it what was Chepashilo again? Sorry, it's a little bit less damage at 90, whereas Chepashilo has 92, but it has way more pin. It has 42 pin, so you're just going to be able to knock through even more of those chest armors. The highest front plate armor of any tier 1 kit is class 4, and this can go through it. So any tier 1 kit, you are able to pierce to the thorax or one shot to the thorax, and that's what I love about this. It makes it feel like a CSGO op in some ways. So that's why this is probably the best bolt action kit at tier 1 in my opinion, just because of that. The sawed off is pretty fun to mess with. What's interesting is you get some 7mm buckshot in there, but you have Magnum in your pocket, so you can kind of pick and choose between that. No armor though, so just keep that in mind. But because of that, we're going to put it above Chepashilo. It does cost though, whereas Chepashilo is free, so keep that in mind. Other than that, we'll move on to the other ones. So I've got Owl here in the B tier as well. I like Owl because it's a free kit. Some of the fun parts about it is it has a suppressor on both the main weapon and the handgun. In Arena, you are fighting pretty close to people, so they will still hear the suppressed shots, but not across the entire map. So you can be a little bit more sneaky with this, where people don't know exactly where you are. Whereas with the Mosin, they're going to hear you very easily. They're going to know right where you're at. So that's just one difference that I'd like to note. You do get the P.A.K.A. too, which is awesome. You get 5 rounders of PCW SP, 87 damage, which can one-tap to the thorax with 30 pin. So this is really nice for a semi-auto weapon. Again, you got to be kind of precise with your 5 shots, but I think it's a great kit in terms of Marksman. The prism scope on it, takes a little getting used to. I personally like it, but some of you may not. You just have to try it out. I think it's a really fun kit. We'll go ahead and move on to Cowboy. It's also free. Keep that in mind, y'all. Free kit right there. That can one tap to the thorax. Cowboy, we're also going to put into the B tier here. Cowboy, we're going to keep it below Owl. And keep in mind, I am ranking these. So Derritizer is above Chepashilo, is above Owl, is above Cowboy, but all in the B tier. So the order does matter that I'm putting them in here, guys. But with Cowboy, the reason it's below Owl is because it doesn't have any armor. Now, it does have ears, so if that's something you really, really care about, that is something you should take note of, but it's also not a free kit, so know that. But you are shooting TCW, SP, same ammunition, 87 and 30, so very similar to the Owl. It's close. I just personally like having that pack on. to have a little bit more protection. But again, it is great to have ears. So it's close. It's close between the two. The secondary is probably better on this kit too, because you get that 357 Magnum with decent penetration and solid damage as well. 88 damage is pretty great. So that was a lot of fun. You're just a glass cannon for sure. It's very easy to to get taken out on that kit. Next, we will move to Echo. Echo, we will slate in here in the B tier. I believe we're going to put it above everything. We're going to put it all the way at the top, and the reason being is it is a semi-auto RFB with 10 rounds in it of TCW SP, so same as the Owl. 87 damage, can one tap to the Thorax. Thorax has 85 health, guys. This can do the trick. You can follow up shots with it. It's not a bolt action. It's got a pretty decent sight on it as well. Pretty good for the mid range. You've got armor. Now, granted, it is pretty hurt. 28 out of 70. Let's see, does it have any plates in it? The only way to tell if something has plates right now is to click this little eyeball and hover over the armor here. It does have 2 level 3 ballistic plates, so you have level 3 armor in it. It does not have much coverage, so keep that in mind. You've got a 17-round pistol, which is nice to have as the backup. Overall, this kit hits hard. It's loud. It's very loud. You can hear it across the map, but we're going to put it above the rest of our Marksman kits as the highest ranked one, actually overall. For our entire tier 1. So that's my highest ranked tier 1 Marksman kit. Breaker we will also slate in to the C tier above Handler. Let's see. Breaker. Where are you at? Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. Okay. The reason being, well, we're putting it in C tier below these B tiers here. It's an SKS with 10 rounds, but it only does 64 damage. With about the same pen as the TCW. So the Cowboy, the Owl, and the Guard can all one tap to the Thorax. This cannot. So for that reason, it has a great scope. It's got the L-can. You may really like to use that. It is a variable, so the scope is probably better than those kits. 18-round crotch in the pocket with PST, which is better bullets than the other ones. But overall, you're probably going to be using your main gun more at the end of the day anyway. So no ears, level 2 body armor. Good to have, but I'm more interested in what the gun can do at the end of the day here. So that's why it is in the C tier, because again, Echo, Owl, Cowboy all have TCW SP that can one tap to the Thorax. So that's enough for me to want to go ahead and roll with that. All right, now we are going to move past the Marksman. I hope that was a good breakdown for y'all. Please let me know what you think in the comments. That's totally fine if you agree or disagree. Let me know. We can always do an updated one down the road. But anyway, we're going to jump into CQB. This is a class I've actually messed around a lot with already this wipe. I'm already down through tier 2, down into tier 3. I have my first tier 3 unlocked. I've been playing some tier 2, but I have a lot of experience with most of the tier 1 kits here, and I've seen these 2 kits quite a bit. So this is actually one I feel very confident about. I feel like I know. Now, again, it is dependent on your playstyle, as with any of these. So I'm going to kind of base it off my playstyle, and then also what I see people doing well against me with. But anyway, we'll get started. We'll go ahead and start with the Raider. The Raider kit, I have slated into the A tier. Slated here into the A tier. Raider's a great kit. 186 gear score. It is super armored. It has it does have an eye shield, class 2 eye shield that I do find saving my life more often than you'd think. It has a front plate and a back plate. It has level 3 armor. It's either level 2 or level 3 soft armor. I don't remember right now, guys. I'm sorry. It's one of the two, but I do know that the front plate is class 3 and the back plate is class 4. So that's awesome. Class 4 right there, class 3 right here, and then soft armor. You've got some neck armor as well. So very armored, class 3 helmet. And then you've got an AKS-74U with 30 rounders. It does shoot SP, low pin. That is just the case with all of CQB. The kick on it is not too bad. We're talking about 64 vert recoil. The horizontal recoil is 235. It's not going to be as smooth as those scout guns, but I've had a lot of success with this kit. And again, you get a flash grenade, you get some painkillers, you get some good heavy bleed stoppers, a decent med kit, and an 18-round secondary. This kit is a free kit. So it's slated into as a staple kit. I recommend it to really anybody. This thing will keep you alive. Sure, you're gonna have to go for the headshots with that low pin on the gun, but it is what it is, and you're gonna eat shots as well. So yeah, great free kit. Love that kit. Next, we'll go to Papa Shaw. Papa Shaw, I have slated in to the B tier. I have used Papa Shaw a lot, actually. I really enjoy it myself, but I do understand that not everybody's going to feel the same way. It's very dependent on your playstyle type kit. I'm just trying to see. I think it goes above these here. Yep. So we'll slate it in above the Derritizer, just because it is a close range kit, which close range generally works better for people in this game than the long range. Depends on your playstyle. The thing about the Papa Shaw, 182 gear score. It shoots, let's see, TFMJ 43, 60 damage, 11 penetration. But here's the critical part about the PPSH. I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but if you're new to it, check this out. Fire rate 1000 RPM. I just posted a game literally the day before this video will release. There is a match that I had where I had 19 elims with this kit. This kit can do some work, but you have to have a specific playstyle and it has to kind of fit what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're going to hate this kit. Because the thing about it is people are going to absolutely eat your bullets. They eat so many bullets with this kit, as with a lot of the CQB, but especially this one. But the thing is, you have 1000 RPM with 271 round drum mags, and so you can just go to town, spray away, and not even have to reload and pour into people. You're a scary kit. So with that being said, that's one reason I love it. It's super great right up where you can barrel stuff people, but at a distance is pretty trash. Absolutely. So as long as you're real close to people, really fun kit. It is a super fun kit. Love the fun aspect of it, the fun value. But the big issue with it, it does not get a secondary. So a lot of times I'll have buddies I'm playing with drop me a secondary so I can put that in my pocket and start running with it, because you will run out of ammo a lot in these 271 rounders. And you just got to find another gun. You got to pick up somebody's gun or at least have a secondary on you. That's the only issue I really run into this kit a lot with. You've got an SSH 68 class 3 helmet. You can even pick up some headphones that you find, certain ones, throw them on there, which is nice. Body armor. This body armor doesn't have any plates in it, and I think it's class 2 on the soft armor, actually. So that is actually the main downside of Papa Shaw, is the body armor is pretty trash in comparison to a lot of the rest of the kits here. So just know that you look thick. It does have that neck armor right there, but you're actually more susceptible to damage than you would think because you do not have any plates in it. It's not. That's the one thing I hate about the current system in the menu here. You can't tell that without actually breaking out the kit, unless you go into here and you see that there's no plates by hovering over the eyeball and showing this plus thing. There's a lot of coverage, but none of this is actually really class 3 armor or plates, so keep that in mind. Okay, we're gonna move to Merca, free Merca. Now, this might surprise some of y'all, and others it will not at all surprise. We're gonna drop this in the S tier. Yes, I think Merca is probably, in the right hands, mind you, in the right hands, maybe the best tier 1 kit overall. Why would I feel that way when it's a 137 gear score? Well, I'll tell you. Now, let it be known that I like full auto weapons myself. I am not a pump shotgun fan. That's just not my play style. That's not something in my wheelhouse, okay? That's probably one of the reasons this kid has such a low gear score, is because this gun is probably very low rated. And that's why I suspect that it has such a low gear score. Here's the thing. You're shooting flechette out of this, which is 25 damage, 31 pin, 8 fragment count. I believe that means it has 8 bullets that spread out, and it's got a pretty tight spread as well. But this can pin basically any armor that you're going to come across in tier 1. So if you can click heads with this gun, which I played with enough with the kit to get to the point that I could start doing. And again, it's a pump shotty, so you got to kind of get a shot off, go back behind cover, try to be as accurate as possible. There is a laser on it that is critical to use. You've got to use this, guys, so that way you don't have to aim down your sights all the time. But if you get to the point where you can click heads with this, you just start dropping people. Start absolutely dropping people. All over the place, guys. All over the place. And so I promise you, you're going to run across Merca gamers that are just going crazy. And you'll see what I mean. Now, you have the killing power if you can hit your shot with this flechette. But that's not all. That's not all, guys. You have the best armor in all of Tier 1. The best armor. You have the same body armor as the Papa Shot, but this one has plates. This one has plates, y'all. It has 6p12 ballistic front and 6p23 ballistic back. That's a class 3 front plate, class 4 back plate. I think it's exactly the same as what the Raider has in terms of armor. And then you've also got a class 3 face shield and a class 3 helmet. And guess what? That's not all. This helmet is not the Kiver. This helmet can have headphones. So you can pick up headphones off people's bodies when you kill them. Or even have your teammates drop them if they're willing to drop you some headphones. I mean, it's just incredible. The meds on this kit, great. I mean, so it all comes down to, can you master the pump shotty? And there's a lot of people that have, because if you can, you will take names. And you are super unkillable. Look, you've got full face coverage. You've got throat handled right there. I mean, you've got a lot of coverage on this armor right here. It's just incredible, guys. So that for that reason, because you have the power to drop just about anybody, really anybody, and you are almost unkillable to certain classes out there that have the 18 pin or something like that, this is one of the best kits in all Tier 1, in my opinion. Next, we'll move to Section 8. Section 8 is going to get about the same treatment, guys. It's going to get about the same treatment. We're going to drop it in the S tier. Section 8 is a great kit. It gets Piranha and an M870, 24 pin, so a little less than the flechette. Not a big deal at this level, but it does. I think it does a little bit more damage. It has more fragments. Does it do more damage? Let's double check. It does the same damage, but it has more fragments. It's a little bit more spread. It's got a nice 20-rounder P22, just as a backup. But the thing about it is, it's same situation. You've got a helmet that you can put ears onto. You've got a good body armor. It doesn't have the neck coverage, and that's one of the reasons I don't put it above the Merca. You can still die there. There's less coverage by this armor. But it's basically in the same boat. I mean, they're both the same playstyle, same idea. I mean, if you're going to a map like Equator or Chop Shop, these are scary kits that just eat bullets. But this one does have, and this is what I haven't unlocked the kit, and I've just had my teammates tell me, so I cannot 100% confirm this. And this could put it above the Merca potentially. If so, I just don't know for sure, and they're really close anyway. But this one gets the Kiba Arms Titan Ballistic Plate, which is class 4, as well as the lightweight ballistic plate. I just don't know which one's in the front. I think that the Kiba Arms Titan Ballistic Plate might be your front plate. And if that's the case, that means you have class 4 in your front, class 3 on your back. The rest of these kits have class 3 in the front, class 4 in the back. Obviously, it's better to have a higher class armor in your front. So if so, this is one of the few kits that gets a class 4 armor plate in the front, which is incredible. Great, great, great kit. Same idea. I won't dive into it all over again. It's very similar process to the Merca, but there's reasons I have these at the S tier leading the pack. Let's go to Farmer, we are going to stick in the A tier, y'all. A tier. The shotguns are getting some love. The new armor system is now in the game. Farmer is the one semi-auto shotgun available at tier 1. And it's 6 shell, it shoots express. You get more express as well. So it is a leg meta, or you go for headshots on people that don't have face shields. So let's say you come across a Merca, your best bet is not to really shoot up here. Sure, you might get lucky and slip a pellet in. I think it's totally possible with the new armor system. But you're probably going to want to take people's legs in a situation like this. But it's very doable with that semi-auto. Semi-auto makes it very easy to potentially beat a Merca, because you can pump their legs while they're sitting there. Unless they hit their first shot with the pump shotty, you've got a good chance of taking them out. Now, most every other kit out here does not have a face shield, And so that means you can go for the face, which you got a semi-auto shotgun going for the face. It's pretty likely that you can slip a buckshot in there. This is a good kit right here. It's got this is a class 4 rig overall, but let's see. I don't know what plates are in it, to be honest with you. Okay, so it's class 3, just soft armor, so no plates. So that is something that's important to keep in mind. The armor is not going to be quite on the level of Merca in Section 8, but it's still very solid, good coverage. So that's Farmer for you. Really nothing else much to say about it. It's a very solid kit, goes in the A tier. Okay, let's jump back over to Bustleman. Bustleman, we are going to put into the C tier. Bustleman, and this is really a biased thing for me. Bustleman, some of you guys are going to love this kit. I love the gun itself. I love the red dot on it and the way it handles. We're talking about 80 vert recoil. That's not too bad. Solid ergo. But the problem for me is the Wormageddon, and I'll continue to harp on this as we go. I'm just not a leg meta guy. Now, you don't have to do leg meta anymore, as we were saying, with the new armor system. Plus, people don't wear a lot of face shields, so this kit can be really good against certain people, but it's kind of a toss-up, and that's what I don't like about leg meta stuff, is I don't always know where to aim on people until I assess what kit they're wearing. And it's kind of a roll of the dice of how it's going to go, because some people will absolutely eat this with the 3-pin, even though it does a lot of damage. So I know some of you guys are going to love this kit. I've seen it do well, but it's just not my flavor. It only gets 20 rounders, which part of the thing for me with CQB is I like the big mags that it comes with in CQB, especially as you get into the later tiers. But for me, it just doesn't really do the trick. It's got decent body armor. Strandhog, I believe, or what is this? Yeah, I think it is the Strandhog. It's got class 3 plate right there, I believe, in the front. And then the PR, that's another class 3 plate. So 2 class 3 plates as well. So good armor coverage. All the CQBs have good armor. It's no class 4, though, I don't believe. So that's important to keep in mind. So for that reason, put it in the C tier. Is what it is. Maybe I'll disagree. Maybe I'll agree. That's just how I feel about it. And you also don't get any headwear. So you have no head armor, which is something that I just don't enjoy with the CQB kit. You know, I'm looking for some. The rest of these are getting very solid headgear. So that is what it is. We're going to move to Diesel. Diesel's sitting at a 190 gear score. I have Diesel slated in the B tier. And this is just personal preference. I do have it at the top of B tier, though. I've had some success with this. I've had a 16 kill game on this guy. It's pretty interesting because it has one of the new masks, which is an armor class 2 on the eyes, jaws, face. This is actually super useful. As we're seeing, there's a lot of low pin bullets out there. So that I do find this thing saving my life, actually more often than I was expecting. Pretty often. But once again, we're in that leg meta zone. We're talking an 11 penetration on this ammo here. It is 30 rounders, which I like better than the Bustleman. So that's definitely a reason it's higher up. And the G36 is awesome with the 750 RPM, 79 vert recoil, decent ergo. I like the red dot on it. It's a great gun. I love the gun itself, but again, I just find myself having to hit people so many times with it, and it's such a toss-up in terms of that regard. It is a hard-to-kill kit, again, because of the face shield, as long as you're looking at somebody. And with the Thor, let's see what we're rocking in the Thor. We've got, I think it's just class 3 Aramid inserts. Class 2 or class 3. And, plates as well. Sorry, plates in that. So you got class 3 plates surrounding you as well. So that, yeah, good armor. Not necessarily as great of coverage on the armor. It is a fairly exposed armor, no net coverage. So that's really the reason I've got it in B tier. You see a lot of people have success with it. A lot of people love it because of the gun. It's really the ammo and the armor that doesn't let me put it higher, in my opinion. So that's CQB. We'll go back and reassess. This is where we're at now. We've got 2 S tiers from there. We got an A tier, we got some B, and we got some C. And you know, that's just where I'm at with it. Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, how you feel about my ranking for the CQB tier 1. All right, Joe, we have now made it through CQB and Marksman. Let's go ahead and move to Assault. Assault we'll do next. Okay, so Assault, this one is one I've not played with as much, I'll let you know right now, but I've seen it used. A lot of my friends are using it. They love Assault, so I've heard a lot about it. I've played against a lot of these kits. I've spent a lot of time spectating players using these kits, and again, fighting against them, so that's kind of what I'm basing a lot of this off of. even though I haven't had the chance to use a lot of these myself. So just know that going into it. That's the perspective I'm taking on this. Let's go ahead and start out with Guard. Guard, a classic kit from last wipe as well. Anyway, Guard, I believe we are going to slate into the A tier. It is going to go above Farmer and in between Raider. And the reason being is you have US GZH, 29 pin, so you're going to get through class 3 pretty easily. It is a semi-auto, but it's also suppressed, which is nice. It's got a red dot on it as well. It's got 20 round mags. So it's got 3 painkillers as well. And so yeah, overall, again, it's just dependent on if you like the semi-auto nature of the SKS. You kind of have to be cool with that. The reload does take a little bit of time as well. You get a TT with TTLRN, which is not going to have much pin. But the reason being, it's a free kit, and as we've been talking about, free gets you some credit points in my book automatically. So because of that, it's definitely jumping up in the A tier. But also the armor is very similar to what's over in CQB. Obviously you don't get a helmet, but you still have class 4 6B33 ballistic plate on the front. So you have class 4 body armor in your front. Let me look real quick. 6B23-2. I'm gonna just check real quick. 6B23-2 ballistic plate. Was it a back plate? I just want to see what class it is. Ballistic plate in the back. Ballistic plate on the back. This is a class 4. So you're covered class 4 on both your front and your back. That's really one of the reasons Guard is so high for me. This is one of the more armored assault classes in all of Tier 1. Actually pretty incredible. And with a solid gun, if you like the semi-auto. Really can't hate on Guard. It's awesome at the free tier, at the free kit. I mean, that's incredible. Also, BSG, please, dear God, please let me see what class, like, it's so awkward. Like, why can't I inspect the armor and see what's in here, just in here? Why do I have to do this eyeball thing to see, like, what? I don't know what some of these are. I haven't memorized 6B23-2 exactly what, you know? So, like, I have to go to the wiki to see what class of armor this is. It's a little bit annoying, frankly, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, so we'll leave Guard in A tier. We're going to go to Bark Eater next. Bark Eater, we are going to put into the A tier as well. Bark Eater, we're going to actually even put above Guard. Now, this is probably a preference. You could really probably interchange Guard and Bark Eater. Some of you may say Guard is better. Some of you may say Bark Eater is better. I've just seen a lot of gamers using Bark Eater that are pretty solid, and so maybe that's just a little bit of bias. I've had some people dominate me with Bark Eater, and that's because it's an ADAR. It has a lot less recoil even than the SKS. So people are just putting out some really precise shots with these bad boys. With the 80 vert recoil and the single tap and suppress like this, it's just putting out some really solid shots. But it also has a grenade, guys. That it's one of the few kits that gets a grenade, and you have it available to you right away. You don't even have to unlock this kit. You also get M1911 with match FMJ with 25 pin in your pocket with 11 rounder. So that's also super nice. When it comes to the armor you are talking about, let's go see class 3 in the front and the back. So not bad at all. It's also got good neck coverage. Obviously no headgear, but I do find people are able to game pretty well with this thing because it's just such an easy firing rifle. If you can, you know, get some precise shots off, it'll do the trick. Obviously 18 pin kind of leaves something to be desired, so you've got to be getting the headshots for the most part. But yeah, that's kind of where I have it. Again, you can interchange them depending on what you like. The SKS is probably just a little bit harder to handle than the ADAR. That's really why I did it, and plus the grenade. So yeah. Next, we're going to go to Mutineer. Mutineer, I believe I have down in the A tier as well. I see people having a lot of success with this kit. The reasons in the A tier, I am going to have it here at the bottom. Obviously, it doesn't get the grenade or anything like the Bark Eater. It's got 20 rounders of SP, which is 20 pin. Not bad at all, honestly, for tier 1. But it's an AKMS with it's got high recoil, so you got to keep that in mind. But it is full auto, So if used correctly, when point firing, or if you can just control your recoil, with the full auto, it's pretty nasty. Whereas again, the other two kits, Guard and Barkeeper, were just semi-auto. So that's one of the perks of this kit here. Good meds, as with a lot of the assault, the meds are awesome. It's got a garage with Luger CCI. It's also got the it's got this flashlight on there, which looks like you would not be able to. Some of the kits you can take the flashlight off the pistol and put onto the main gun. I don't see a slot where you could do that, unless there's one right there. There might be a slot right there. If so, then you got a flashlight that you could toss on there. I can't tell if it's a flashlight laser combo or not, but anyway, you could throw it on there. So if so, that's really cool as well. Let's look at the armor. You've got a okay, just the class 2, so that's definitely going to take it down a notch. One of the reasons that I have it towards the bottom of A tier, only class 2 soft armor, so the armor is much worse than the Guard and the Barkeeper, but I still find people gaming out with these kits because of the full auto nature of this AK here with the 20 pin. It really does the trick in a lot of ways. So we'll keep it at the bottom of A tier, but I do have Barkeeper and Guard ahead of it because I think these are going to be two better kits for most people, and they're more armored, plus the grenade on Barkeeper. So yeah. Next, we're going to dive into arguments. Arguments. Welcome to the S tier, everybody. Welcome to the S tier. Argument. Argument is a single tap VPO 366. Shooting Echo. 73 damage, 30 penetration. That's why. 30 pin is a rare sight to see at this tier, especially in an AK like this with 20 rounders. You also have AP 6.3 in your pocket for your revolver, which has 30 pin. So the pin on this class, pretty incredible for a non-scout kit. It's even rival. I think it's maybe one of the highest, if not the highest pin kits that's not Marksman. It might be the highest outside of Marksman. This might be the highest pin bullet that you can get outside within assault, CQB, or scout. We'll double check that here in a minute, but I think it is. So that's pretty incredible. It does get the Corone VM. Now you might look at this and say, oh, class 5 body armor. Of course this is not a class 5 body armor, but it has good coverage. The reason it's not, we'll go check out the plates here in a minute. It's got a helmet as well. I believe this is class 3. If you can pick up some ears as well out there, but it does have a helmet, which is awesome. You got a Triton with a lot of room. You got great meds. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of flaws with this kit, guys. This kit is great. So let's go take a look at the armor. It's a Coroned with all of just the soft armor, no plates whatsoever. So let me go right now and go to the wiki. I don't know what the soft armor is on the Coroned. I think it's class 3, but we'll go double check. Again, you're gonna get good coverage regardless. Class 3 helmet, class 3 body armor with the 30 pin on both your handguns, both your guns, the handgun and the rifle. There's a reason this kit is in the S tier, y'all. I've had a lot of my buddies using this kit and they just absolutely love it. Let me go double check on the soft armor class right now. So that it is a bit of the glass cannon. It is a class 2 body armor. That's not going to change where I've got it, just because again, it's the only 30 pin not in Marksman, and at least you do have some body armor with good coverage at the level of a pack. So class 2 soft body armor. That's probably the one flaw with the kit, really, but we're gonna leave it in S tier. That 30 pin will get you put into the S tier for me. High pin is just something that's really, really important to me. It's something that I value. Plus the class 3 helmet. We're gonna go to Chappie. Chappie is also an A tier kit for me. It's actually going to lead A tier right here. A tier, and I've seen people use Chappie and have a lot of success with it. The reason it's going to lead A tier is this DML. It's shooting FMJ with 23 pin, but the gun itself, it's got a great for tier 1 at least. Again, believe me, when I'm speaking in relevance to tier 1 kits, not tier 2, not tier 3. I'm speaking about tier 1. It's got a good red dot for that. It's got low recoil at 69. It's just a great handling gun. I see people absolutely putting out some great precise shots with this kit. It's got a class 3 helmet. It's got a class 2 body armor similar to that of the Argument, but it does have ear coverage as well. It's got some solid meds, an AFAC. That's awesome to have. P22, 15 rounds, just handgun on your hip. But yeah, this is going to just go at the top of A tier because I see a lot of people having a lot of success with this gun. Similar to that of the Barkeeter, pretty much same reason why. Obviously, you don't get the grenade or anything like that. But I think the gun is even, with this setup of it that's got here, I prefer it to what even Barkeeter has, but I guess that's up to you. And again, Barkeeter does not have a helmet, so it's great to have a helmet. So that's why it's going to be at the A tier leading for us. Let's go to Ratnik next. Ratnik is shooting PS with 28 pin, which is actually pretty high. Pretty high, pretty close to that of the argument. We're going to go ahead and put Ratnik into the B tier. Right in between Echo and Papasha. I think the reason with Ratnik is you have very low coverage on the body armor, and only 20 rounders of PS. With this AK, I'm just not a huge fan of this red dot, really, the holographic. I think that's one reason it's lower. If you're fine with this red dot, that's more like, really, this kit is not far off a Chappie or a Barkeeter or something like that. It's just if you like this red dot, really, because again, this is a single fire AK. You've just got to be a fan of this holo, and then sure, it could rise up quite a bit actually because of the 28 pin. This PS round is awesome. So again, I've got it where I've got it in the B tier because I'm not a huge fan of that holographic that's on it, and again, low coverage on the armor, no helmet. It's class 3 soft armor on the front and the back, no sides or anything like that. So that's why it's lower for me. But again, this could be way higher for you. Just depends on what you like. I much prefer this gun on Chappie. So next we're going to go to Knuckles. Knuckles we actually have down on the C tier. I see people using this. I know some of you love it. Don't let me stop you from loving it. Keep using it. That's totally fine. But the reason being, it shoots T. It has no red dot or anything like that on this gun. It's all irons. The armor is low coverage. It doesn't have any head armor. I don't think this actually provides any armor to you. It's 20 rounders, decent meds, but for me, I don't see any reason to use Knuckles over some of these other kits that are available. It is a full auto, so I will say that's really the one thing about it. Even though it's 20 rounders, it is full auto. So if you're looking for something full auto, that is the reason to use Knuckles. But I would probably opt for a Ratnik, an argument, a Chappie, a Barkeeter, even a Guard before Knuckles, just personally. Now, it's going to handle a lot better. If you want the full auto and you really want to go assault, Mutineer and Knuckles are your choices. Now, this Knuckles, this gun's not going to kick as much as the Mutineer's gun. So if you want lower recoil, full auto, and assault, that's probably the reason to go with Knuckles, and I understand that. But just kind of based on the stats here and the way I feel about that armor coverage and stuff, we're gonna keep it lower. It does have some plates in it, but it has no soft armor whatsoever, just plates. 3 on the front, 3 on the back. So that's Knuckles for you. We've got it down in the C tier. So that is Assault. We have now covered all of Assault. This is what we're shaping up to on the tier list here. Let me know again if you agree, disagree in the comments. Totally fine. Absolutely understand if you've got Knuckles at your S tier. That's fine. That's fine. All these kits are not that far off. But with that being said, we are going to move over to the Scout tree. Scout tree. I love Scout personally. It is my flavor. Even though I've done mostly CQB right now, it's really because I want to see these tier 3 CQBs. Scout is actually one of my favorites. It has all the things I'm looking for in that it has it deals damage. These bullets hurt over here in Scout. These guns and these bullets hurt, and that's what I love about it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of Scout. I've already started working on it. I can't wait to do more of it. So we're going to start with Handler. Handler we're going to put in the A tier. Handler's a great kit. We're going to slide it in right after Raider. And I've got this out of order a little bit. Let me fix up the order real quick. There we go. Fix up the order. So I had him a little bit out of order on the assaults there. But Handler, we're going to slot it into A tier right there in between the Barkeeter and the Raider. Handler, what's great about it, it has 3 30 rounders of PST, which is 20 pin. It's only got 55 vert recoil, so it handles really well. I will say the red dot they chose is really weird, and it's kind of blocked by that circle at the end of it, so the sight picture is pretty strange on it to me. That's one of the reasons that it's not my favorite, but it's also got the 357 Magnum with 88 damage, so this is just a kit where you can really put some people down if you're hitting your shots. That's going to be the case with a lot of the scout classes, but having 30 rounders in this thing was something I didn't expect. I think last wipe they only had 20 rounders, so they actually upgraded it. Obviously the meds are kind of leave something to be desired. That's just part of the scout tree. It does not have the meds that CQB or assault get, really. And you got some ears. So the armor, I believe, is going to be soft armor. I think Thor is class 3 soft armor by default. But handler, free kit, again, that's going to give you some credit points. So A tier it goes. I see some people game out with this guy for sure. Let's go to champion. Champion. Now, you guys may feel completely different than me on this one. This is a gun with 32 vert recoil, super low recoil, semi-auto though. You've got to keep that in mind. It's not full auto. It's got some great headphones with the tac sports, but it has no armor whatsoever. It's got a TT with PST, which is actually nice to have 25 pin in it, so that's not bad. I mean, the guns it has are not bad. It's the only one that has access to AP. I think it's the only one with, besides Argument, that's going to get the 30 pin at this tier. So there's that to keep in mind, but it's only 17 rounds. You know, it's not full auto, and these bullets only do 52 damage. They really just don't hurt that much unless you're hitting headshots. So if you love this kit, power to you. But it's too much of a glass cannon for me. It's not full auto. And I mean, because of that reason, it's got bad meds. It's just not living up to what I'm looking for. We're gonna make that our only D tier kit. And it's a paid kit. It's a paid kit. It's not free. So yeah, maybe you feel differently. That's fine. We're putting it in the D tier. Plantain next. Plantain. We will do B tier. Plantain is a leg meta kit. It has SP7, SP8, great damage, 1 penetration. So this is just the way that I feel about it. Because it does so much damage and it has 900 RPM, even though I'm not a leg meta guy, I end up liking this kit a little bit more, enough to put it in the B tier, just because you really can take people out so fast within the legs with it. It is effective. You just have to remember to shoot legs. You can go for the head, that's fine, but like if you come into a Merca, they're gonna eat all your shots. So it is what it is, and you know, there's really not much more to say about it. Class 2 body armor, and you know, great leg meta kit, higher fire rate. If you love leg meta, this is one of the best kits available. It's just not my flavor. So next we're gonna go to Gendarme. This is one I've been using a lot as I've been working through the tier 1 scout. I really like it myself. I'll put it right here next to the handler. The only reason I'll really put it below the handler is because of the free aspect. I actually prefer it to the handler. But I think overall, just probably a little bit more people will like the handler. No, I'm going to put it above the handler. Personal preference is going to weigh over. I'm going to put it above the handler. And reason being, it is only 25 rounders, the handler's 30. But you get a helmet too, and I believe the helmet's class 3 as well. It is class 3, class 2 body armor. But it's the only scout that gets a helmet. So that's meaningful. Gets ears. The ump is just amazing, y'all. I'm loving the ump. 51 vert recoil, but the 600 RPM just makes it not kick very hard at all. So I just am putting out such precise shots with it, and it's still full auto, which I love. 25 pin is really doing the trick at this level. It gets through those class 3 face shields pretty great, and you're able to put up follow-up shots very easily with it. It gets the Makarov with PBM with 28 pin on the side, but look, this Makarov has a flashlight on it as well. So at the start of every round, I drag the flashlight off and I put it on the up. So that way you can kind of flashlight meta people too, which can be very effective. It makes it hard to hit you. So obviously the meds are scout meds. It is what it is, but I'm having a lot of fun on this kit. I mean, you're talking ears, helmet, and a wonderful gun with Match FMJ, which is great ammo at this tier. Just such an easy handling gun. I'm loving it. it's gonna go where I put it, right here, top of A tier. Great kit. We're gonna go on to Vityaz. Vityaz is a wonderful kit. I just find this PP19 to really do the trick. It's got a flashlight laser combo, I believe, on it. It's suppressed. It's got a great red dot on it for this tier. It's got a Grotch with PST in it as well, so you got 18 on the hip in case you need it. It's got headphones. It's got armor. Let's see, TV 15. What armor are we rocking? Class 3 plate. 2 Class 3 plates, so it's pretty armored for a scout. Even though it's low coverage, guys, that is pretty solid armor for a scout. No helmet. Just the way that the gun handles and the immense amount of ergo you've got on this, 53, 39 vert recoil. This thing just handles like a champ, and you've got ears. So if you're just somebody that wants to be able to hear, listen out, put out some precise shots, I think it's a super great kit. One of the best in Scout. And we're going to toss that thing probably right above there, above Gendarme. There's an argument to be made for this being an S tier kit, and I understand that argument, and I think it could go there, but we'll leave it here. We'll leave it right there. I think that's a good spot for it. Just because of the 20 rounders, really. If it had bigger mags, it would absolutely be an S tier. I think in the right hands and with the right play style, this is an S tier kit, but we're going to leave it in the A tier. Okay, let's go to Tikhon. Tikhon has got the, let's see, no plates, right? No plates. Yep, just Class 3 soft. 20 rounders with the AK-74U. I love the red dot on this guy. It's suppressed, shooting FMJ, 24 pen, so you are going to be able to get through Class 3 even sometimes. But this gun, 71 vert recoil, I just find it shoots great. I love the sight picture on it. I love the gun on it. We're going to put it right up there with the Gendarme and Vityaz. It's going to fit right in there. I mean, these could be in any order, honestly. Like, these are just solid kits. You can't go wrong with these kits. I mean, there's really not much else to say about it. The secondary obviously doesn't have much ammo in it. It's got some decent pen. It's nice to be suppressed as well. If you're somebody who can go out and hit some shots, this kit will work great for you. You just don't get any ears, I will say, and so that's probably one reason we might want to move it down below even the handler. The no ears aspect kind of really does actually pump those guys up, I will say. So good to keep in mind. Poralon is actually our last kit. We're going to put Poralon in the C tier. And again, some of you guys may totally disagree with me. It's all right. This gun is really cool. The KBP9A91. This is shooting the AS Val VSS ammo, 9x39. The reason it's this low is because it has a little pin. It also only has irons on it, but it does have a laser. So it's like that Papa Shot class. If you're going out and barrel stuffing people, this gun is amazing because it has 900 RPM. But the mags are small, and it has next to no armor. Class 2, just body armor, no helmet, no ears, trash meds. So yeah, bad secondary for the most part. It's just not a lot of ammo. So obviously, as with every other kit, you can go out there and game with it. You can get some kills. This thing slaps because it shoots so fast, and it has higher pen than the Papa Shot. But it just doesn't have the armor it needs. Doesn't have the ears. So I just can't rate it that highly. It kind of sucks at a distance too. It's very hard to use at a distance because of the irons. So Poralon goes down in the C tier. And then yeah, guys, that's what we're left with. We've gone through everything. In tier 1, this is what we're left with. We have 3 S tiers that I'm happy with. We've got a lot in the A tier. I think there's a lot of great kits. A and B is, I mean, just because of the balance currently in the game right now, it makes sense that we have a lot of A and B. This may look different than yours. This may look the same, but I hope this gives you some insight into kind of what the layout of all these kits looks like. We'll also talk through the specifics of the armor, the ammo, the weapons of everything. and it gets you a lay of the land, so you know what kits to go out there and pick. But as you pick the kits too, do make sure you keep in mind how the preset system works and how the tier system works as you work towards those tier 2 and tier 3 kits, because that does matter. You want to get some of those kits you're looking for in tier 2 and tier 3. But when it comes to just playing tier 1, and you're going to end up playing tier 1 a lot, because that's where the majority of the players are right now. Also, when you have new friends come and play the game, that's where they're going to start out, and you're going to have to go back to your tier 1 kits. So it's good to know what to use and what the lay of the land looks like and what kits to look out for. Also, just again, keep in mind that some of these kits do counter each other. You know, a scout like Vityaz, Gendarme, Handler is going to have an easy time dealing with the Merca versus another CQB kit like the Papasha. I have so much trouble dealing with Mercas. So there are some like counters at play here. It does depend on what kit you're running in terms of who's gonna be a tough kit for you to play against and stuff like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also the person that's playing, whoever's controlling them, obviously a Merca, if you're not loving the pump shoddy or you're playing against somebody who doesn't use it a lot, they're not going to be really a problem. But if this is in the right hands, where it was somebody who knows how to hit their shots on a pump shoddy, it's a deadly class. Deadly. Absolutely deadly. So anyway, that's it for today. Again, thank you so much for spending time with me. Hope this was some great insight. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment. We'll get some more tier lists out here soon enough, some more arena videos. We got a lot of arena gameplay here on the channel. I play live all the time. Come drop by, say hello. Join our Discord. Link is in the description below. Come raid with us. Do regular Tarkov. Get some matches in, whatever. Hope you all have fun out there. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace!